Good evening. I'm so sorry that I was late. I'm so rude. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm here. Yeah, we got good. See, it worked. I have 4 things I want to share with you in 8 minutes, and it'll be perfect because they're about 2 minutes each. I want to share a kind of master image with you for understanding the web. I want to distribute among you my magic fact. I have a magic fact I'm going to share with you. I want to tell you about a current obsession of mine that will interest you as science journalists. And then finally, if we have time, I'll try to tell you what I'm doing on Twitter, which is one of my new projects. So my images, how many of you remember that scene in Network, the movie Network, where Howard Beale urges people who are as mad as he is to get up from their television sets and go to the window and open the windows and shout out, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." You know that scene? Or how many of you have ever gone to see the hot new band in town who are finally in concert, and you kind of wonder, who's going to show up? Because you've never seen this act, and you've never seen the people who listen to this band in one place. Has that ever happened to you? Or in New York, if you find a high ground, high spot in New York at night, you can look down into people's windows. Did you ever do that? Mostly what you see, if you get up on a big, tall building in Brooklyn and you look down, is people watching television, right, in their separate apartments. So I start with these images because I found that in understanding the web, one of the most helpful things you can do for yourself, for your mind, as it were, is to try and picture what the mass audience looked like in the days of mass media, when mass media was everything, when mass media was king. And what I mean is that you have to actually try and picture the arrangement of people in space to really understand what's different about our world. So if we try to picture the mass audience who's watching television at night, or the mass audience that receives the newspaper on the doorstep every day, or the circulation base of Time magazine that gets the magazine in the mail every week, or that's listening to All Things Considered. When we picture them, they're all sharing the same thing, but they are widely scattered in space. And, most important thing, they're connected up to big media and to news, to politics, to the institutions of power through the news, but they're not connected across to each other. That's the normal state of affairs in mass media. And if you can picture those people, then you can see what is so different about the web. Because the web does connect you up. It's good at connecting you. I can go right to whitehouse.gov, and I'm connected to the White House. It's good for connecting up to CNN, to NBC, to the New York Times, which I visit every day. But it's also just as effective at connecting across. And all those people sitting on the end of their television sets who could only receive, who could not talk back, who could not talk across the network, who could not make media, who were not themselves producers. Those are the people that Howard Beale said, "Get up from here," because they were powerless. Well, there's been a shift in power, because all the media tools that used to be so heavily capitalized and in possession of media companies have now been distributed to the public at large. You remember your Marx? Yes, you do. A lot of you had to read Marx in college, so I know you remember it. What does he say a revolution is? A revolution is when the means of production change hands. Well, in publishing, that's what happened. The means of production changed hands. Lots of people had them, when before, only a few people had them. So if you can picture the audience the way it was, you can picture what's different about the web. That's my image. My magic fact. This is the thing that's changing the world. It's changing politics. It's changing commerce. It's going to change the economy, and it's certainly changing media and journalism. And it's the falling cost for people with the same interest to meet each other, share information, collaborate, and publish what they know. Falling costs for like-minded people to locate each other, exchange information, pool what they know, manipulate that, and publish back to the web, to the world, is changing the world. And that's what Obama tapped into in his organization. That's what makes possible things like open source software, open source intelligence. That's what crowdsourcing is about. That's what social media is about. It's the falling cost for people who have the same interest, who like the same things, who want to know more about the same things, who have the same fascinations, who want to dig deeper, to find each other, even though they're widely scattered. So because those costs are being driven down so rapidly, so dramatically by the web, all kinds of things that were unthinkable before are suddenly very thinkable. That's my magic fact. My current obsession. When I learned about open source software, which is, let's have thousands of programmers contribute to this piece of software and just use the best ones. Let's have thousands of people catching bugs for Mozilla, because if they do it, it'll be just way better than if we have a bug-catching team at headquarters. That's open source software. When I learned about it, I first learned about it in this like panicked memo that got leaked from Microsoft because some poor kid had to tell his bosses about the potential of open source software, and he knew they weren't going to like it. But when I learned about it, I said, with the falling cost for like-minded people to share information and find each other, we can now involve hundreds and potentially thousands of people in our investigations, in the collection of facts, in reporting, because it's doable. If we can create Wikipedia with thousands of editors, if we can create a piece of software with thousands of geeks, if we can debug a popular browser with thousands of testers, if we can outsource t-shirt design, like with threadless.com, to thousands of would-be designers, we can certainly recruit hundreds and thousands of people to help us with our reporting. How to do that? How does it work in practice? What are the problems if you try to do it? How can you make it reliable? How can you filter it properly? How can you organize it? How can you do it without your head imploding? All those huge and practical problems are what I'm trying to solve through my project, newassignment.net, which I can tell you about more if you want to. Finally, so that's my obsession, how to do that. Because I believe in the future we'll know how to do it, and it'll be like standard practice. And for example, beat reporters will have networks of hundreds and thousands of people helping them do their beat. And we'll have that in the future, but we don't now, so we have to keep pushing. What am I doing on Twitter? Twitter is my giant tipster network. It's where I collect and meet friends of my work. It's a group of people interested in the same things I'm interested in who edit the web for me and therefore point out what I should be paying attention to. They're an early warning system for changes in my environment. It's the best live news system going because you can find out before it gets to CNN if it happens like a big news event, like a breaking news event, like an earthquake or something. And by trying to communicate to people on Twitter, I am getting a read on my ideas and getting a kind of reaction that helps me figure out what I should blog about at my blog, Press Thing. And so as a blogger, I have discovered that the ideal for me now is really to have a blog and a Twitter feed. The blog is like my place for finished pieces, And the Twitter feed is where I'm in constant contact with a constituency for my work, and one can feed the other one. So that's what I'm doing on Twitter. Thanks very much.